Mr. Malone, my sister Lily has been missing for 3 days. She was last seen leaving her apartment on Tuesday evening. She had plans to meet a friend for dinner, but she never showed up. I've tried calling her phone, but it goes straight to voicemail. I'm really worried something terrible has happened to her. The police aren't doing enough. They say they're looking into it, but I feel like they're not taking it seriously. I need your help. You have a reputation for solving difficult cases, and I'm desperate. Please, Mr. Malone, you're my last hope.
Jack sits at his desk, reviewing paperwork. The phone rings. He glances at the caller ID and sees it's a number he doesn't recognize. With a sigh, he picks up the receiver, hoping it's not another dead-end lead. Jack says, "All right, Miss Harris, send me everything you have on her. I'll get started right away." He listens intently as she describes Lily's habits, her friends, and any potential enemies. Jack takes detailed notes, knowing that every piece of information could be crucial in finding Lily. Cut to Jack studying Lily's photos and information. He spreads the photos out on his desk, examining each one carefully. He notices a few details that the police might have overlooked. There's a photo of Lily at a cafe, looking over her shoulder as if she's being watched. Another photo shows her with a group of friends, but one person's face is partially obscured. Jack makes a note to follow up on these leads. He knows that time is of the essence and every minute counts in a missing person's case. Jack spends the next few hours making phone calls and talking to witnesses. He interviews Lily's friends and co-workers, trying to piece together her last known movements. Some of them mention seeing a strange man hanging around her apartment building in the days leading up to her disappearance. Jack makes a note of this and decides to check the building's security footage. Jack reviews the security footage from Lily's apartment building. He watches hours of video, looking for any sign of the strange man. Finally, he spots him. The man is seen loitering near the entrance, watching Lily as she leaves the building. Jack zooms in on the man's face, trying to get a clear image. He prints out a still from the video and adds it to his growing file of evidence. Determined to find Lily, Jack heads out to follow up on his leads. He drives to the cafe where Lily was last seen, hoping to find someone who remembers seeing her. He talks to the barista, who recalls Lily being there with a man who seemed agitated. Jack takes down the description and thanks the barista for their help. Jack spends the rest of the day canvassing the area around Lily's apartment. He knocks on doors, talks to neighbors, and asks if anyone saw or heard anything unusual. Some of them mention hearing raised voices coming from Lily's apartment the night she disappeared. Jack makes a note of this and decides to check with the building manager to see if there were any complaints filed. The building manager confirms that there was a noise complaint filed the night Lily disappeared. Jack reviews the records and finds that the complaint was made by a neighbor who heard a loud argument coming from Lily's apartment. Jack decides to pay the neighbor a visit to see if they can provide any more details. The neighbor tells Jack that they heard a man's voice shouting and then a door slamming. They didn't see anyone leave the apartment, but they did notice a car parked outside that they hadn't seen before. Jack takes down the description of the car and thanks the neighbor for their help. Jack heads back to his office and starts searching the database for the car. He cross-references the description with recent reports of suspicious vehicles in the area. After a few hours, he finds a match. The car was reported stolen a few days before Lily disappeared. Jack feels a surge of hope. He's getting closer to finding Lily, and he won't stop until he brings her home. Jack examines Lily's apartment, finding small clues, a broken vase, an overturned chair, and a handwritten note reading, "Trust no one." Jack thinks aloud, this wasn't just a simple disappearance. Something's wrong here.
Yeah, I remember her. She came in here a few times, always seemed a bit on edge, like she was looking over her shoulder. She was with this guy, kind of rough looking. They left together. He had this air about him like he was trouble. They didn't stay long, just had a couple of drinks, and then they were out the door.
Jack follows a lead to a bar where Lily was last seen. The bar is dimly lit, with a smoky haze hanging in the air. It's the kind of place where secrets are whispered and deals are made in the shadows. He talks to the bartender, a grizzled man with a 1,000-yard stare. The bartender's seen it all, and it shows in the lines on his face. Jack asks, "Did she look like she knew him well?" The bartender pauses, thinking back. He scratches his chin, eyes narrowing as he recalls the night. Jack notes this down in his worn leather notebook. Every detail could be crucial. He knows that in his line of work, the smallest clue can crack a case wide open, and leaves. S5, media, man leaving room, man walking out of door. The bartender finally speaks, can't say. She looked nervous though, like she was in over her head. Jack thanks him and heads out, the weight of the new information heavy on his mind. He steps out into the night, the cool air a stark contrast to the bar's oppressive atmosphere. The city streets are quiet, but Jack's mind is racing. He knows he's getting closer, but the pieces of the puzzle are still scattered. He needs to find Lily before it's too late. As he walks, he goes over the details in his head. The rough-looking guy, the nervous demeanor, the quick exit. It all points to something bigger, something dangerous. Jack's gut tells him that Lily is in trouble, and he can't shake the feeling that time is running out. He heads back to his car, the engine purring to life as he starts it up. The city lights blur past as he drives, his mind focused on the next step. He needs to find out who the rough-looking guy is and what his connection to Lily might be. Jack knows that the answers are out there. He just has to keep digging. He pulls up to his office, a small, cluttered space filled with case files and old coffee cups. He sits down at his desk, the weight of the day settling on his shoulders. He opens his notebook and starts to piece together the information he's gathered. The bartender's words echo in his mind. She looked nervous. It's a small detail, but it could be the key to understanding what happened to Lily. Jack knows he can't do this alone. He picks up the phone and calls his partner, a seasoned detective with a knack for finding the truth. Together, they might just have a chance at cracking this case. As he waits for his partner to arrive, Jack leans back in his chair, staring at the ceiling. The city outside is alive with activity, but in his office it's just him and the case. He knows that every second counts, and he won't rest until he finds Lily. The door creaks open, and his partner steps in, a determined look on her face. "Let's get to work," she says, and Jack nods. They have a long night ahead of them, but they're ready. The search for Lily continues, and Jack won't stop until he brings her home. As Jack walks back through the dimly lit alley, the shadows seem to stretch and twist around him. He feels a chill run down his spine, a sense of unease creeping in. He realizes he's being followed. The sound of footsteps echoing behind him grows louder, more deliberate. Jack's heart races as he quickens his pace, trying to shake off the feeling of being watched. He turns the corner sharply, hoping to lose whoever is on his tail, but as he glances back, he catches a glimpse of a figure lurking in the shadows. The thug is sneaking up, moving with a predatory grace. Jack's mind races, trying to figure out his next move. He knows he can't outrun this guy, so he decides to confront him head-on. Jack spins around, his eyes locking onto the thug. With a voice that brooks no argument, he demands, "Who sent you?" His tone is icy, filled with a mixture of anger and fear. The thug hesitates, clearly not expecting Jack to confront him so boldly. The tension in the air is palpable, each second stretching into an eternity.
The thug's face contorts in confusion and he stammers, "I don't know what you're talking about." His voice wavers, betraying his nervousness. Jack can see through the lie, his instincts telling him that this man knows more than he's letting on. The alley seems to close in around them, the darkness pressing down like a physical weight.
Jack doesn't waste any time. He grabs the thug by the collar and pins him against the wall, his grip unyielding. "You're going to tell me or else," he growls, his face inches from the thug's. The threat hangs in the air, heavy and menacing. Jack's eyes bore into the thug, searching for any sign of weakness.
The thug's resolve crumbles under Jack's intense gaze. All right, he blurts out, his voice tinged with desperation. "A guy named Tom Reed. He's the one who sent me." The name hangs in the air, a revelation that sends a jolt through Jack. He knows that name, and it only raises more questions. The thug continues, his voice dropping to a whisper. He doesn't want anyone finding her. The words are cryptic, but Jack understands the gravity of the situation. Whoever her is, she must be important. The thug's worried expression tells Jack that there's more to this story, layers of secrets waiting to be uncovered.
Jack releases his grip, and the thug stumbles away, disappearing into the shadows. The encounter leaves Jack with more questions than answers. He watches the thug's retreating figure, his mind racing. Who is Tom Reed? And who is the mysterious her that he doesn't want anyone to find? Jack knows he can't stop now. He has to get to the bottom of this, no matter the cost. The night is far from over, and the alley seems to whisper secrets that Jack is determined to uncover.
Where's Lily Harris? Safe, for now, but you should stop looking.
Jack's voice was firm, unyielding.
You're going to tell me everything or I'll make you wish you had.
Jack's intensity forces Tom to crack.
Fine. She found out about our operation, stolen artifacts, black market deals. She was in over her head.
Following Tom's directions, Jack locates Lily in a dimly lit warehouse, tied up. He frees her, but they hear footsteps approaching.
We need to get out of here. Stay close.
They sneak out, but one of Tom's men spots them, leading to a tense chase. Jack and Lily sprint through narrow alleyways with the goon in pursuit. After a gripping chase, they finally evade him. Back in Jack's office, Lily explains why she was in danger.
I found out they were smuggling stolen artifacts. I tried to expose them, but they found out.
Jack's voice was reassuring.
It's over now. Let's get this evidence to the authorities.
Scene fades as they prepare to go to the police.